I remember like thinking like, oh, I've seen this happen to other people. They get up and walking in a couple months. I'll be fine. And then as it just progressed and I figured out more and more of the severity as it kind of like set in, I was like, oh, like I'm pretty screwed right now. Like I need to figure out what I'm going to do, figure out how to get my life back and how quickly I can get it back.
Be Inspired podcast. Real stories from real people. Sharing stories of love and loss, struggles and perseverance, laughter and tears, and overcoming adversity.
As we know, life can change in an instant, and our guest today on Be Inspired has taken a life-changing moment and using it now to inspire others around him. Hi, I'm Bert Barron.
And I'm Lisa Anderson.
And we welcome you to Be Inspired. Lisa, we have our special guest today, an incredible young man who's doing amazing things, great progress that he's making after a life-changing incident from just a few years ago.
Yeah, for sure. You know, they say the human spirit is just so strong, and we have guests on season 5, season 4, all the seasons really that just prove just that, and it gives us inspiration.
Absolutely, and personifying the resiliency of the human spirit is our guest here today. Let's welcome Sam Jarmer to Be Inspired. Sam, it is great to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Hey,
Take
Sam.
us back. It was a few years ago when your life changed very quickly. You're a lifeguard, you're at the Jersey Shore, you're loving life, and a life-changing moment for you. Walk us back through that if you would.
Yeah, so, growing up on the shore, especially if you live in a town where it's coastal, it's almost every kid's dream to just become a lifeguard. Because you grow up going to the beach, you know the lifeguards, and then it's just kind of the first real job you get is to become a lifeguard. And, I finally became a lifeguard, and I just loved the job, got to work with so many of my friends, and, one day I just went to work like nothing else. It was really looking forward to that week because I was working with my good friend Garth and Arden. And on that day, it was a very non-packed day. There wasn't too many people on the beach. So we got to, hang out, have a little bit more leniency at work than usual. And I came back from my break. And before I was getting on the bench, I was heading into the water, dove over a wave. The wave clipped my feet and sent me down straight into a sandbar, which I hit my head on and broke my neck. And luckily, though, that my lifeguard friends, they're all very, very experienced and well-trained. So they were able to see and know instantly what happened, radioed it in, got to me, saved my life, and then got me to the hospital as quick as they could.
First of all, I have to say, Sam, Garth and Arden are total lifeguard names. Aren't they? I mean, that it just sounds like, something out of Baywatch. But you said it was like the most perfect day where you were looking forward to. And first of all, lifeguarding is not easy. I was at the beach, and you and I have this favorite beach together, Ocean Grove. It's just like our place of serenity, right? You can't get there enough. I would actually sleep there if I could. I would. And you just said you were looking forward to it and how things could change in an instant. But you, I think, also were in such great shape because when I was at the beach, they're doing the training for the lifeguards. You have to swim a lot. First of all, the ocean was like 59 degrees that day. It was a couple months ago. And they're going back and forth, way, way out. So you were in really good shape to begin with, other than, the quick thinking of Garth and Arden. And I have to ask you, the first couple days, like you had said to me, it was kind of surreal, where you didn't really realize, the severity of what had happened.
Yeah, so initially I, just got to the hospital. I knew something bad happened. I was like, I'm, pretty banged up right now. Don't really know what my full injury is. But I'm like, whatever, I'll figure out in a couple hours or days. And I remember thinking oh, I've seen this happen to other people. They get up and walking in a couple months. I'll be fine. And then as it just progressed and I figured out more and more of the severity as it kind of like set in, I was like, oh, like I'm pretty screwed right now. Like I need to figure out what I'm going to do, figure out how to get my life back and how quickly I can get it back and how strong I come back.
It sounds like it's something, Sam, that you made a rather quick, surprisingly quick transition to, as in, okay, how do I take this and move forward with it? I'm sure there are people that have gone through similar situations where you just you're in a little bit of a lull, where there's some uncertainty and you're not really sure where this is going to take you in life. It sounds like you had there was a clarity, it sounds like, where you said, okay, this is what it is and I'm going to go forward with this. Did you have that moment?
Yeah, so I mean, I was pretty daredevilish as a kid. I would do everything from riding bikes down, mountains, doing whatever, jumping off stuff. And I would always get hurt doing some things. And when I get hurt, I'm like, oh, I got hurt. Maybe I'll chill for a couple days. And then, next week I'll be back to it, going bridge jumping or something. And this injury was like the first time where I'm like, I'm not coming back for a little bit. This is going to take some time. So I was thinking, I'm like, all right, I need to sit down, just figure out what I need to do, figure out how I need to recover and how quickly I recover and what I need to do to get where I want to be. And I made that decision, and it's the greatest decision you can make when breaking your neck is if you want to recover, you got to just put the work in. But if you want to just sit down in a chair for the rest of your life, you just sit there.
And a friend of yours came in, because you are known now as Samvincible. By the way, he has a great Instagram page, Samvincible. I've been following you for the longest time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I also, I felt bad because you didn't know who I was, and so many people just got on board and were just giving you these messages and I have to give you a lot of credit for posting what you do, because that's not easy to do, to put yourself out there, to show the progress that you've made. But tell us how you got the name Samvincible.
So when I broke my neck, I went from getting injured in the past. I'm like, whatever, it's fine, I'm invincible. I'll be back in a week. But our friend Dave, who was kind of like, he's like the bad uncle almost. Like, if I want to do something kind of like a little sketchy, I go to him and I'm like, let's go check out this dirt bike that I want to buy. I'm not taking my mom, I'm taking you, so let's go. And he came in and he was like, so what happened to being invincible? And I was just like, hey, you're invincible till you're not. Because I'm like, at that point, that's when I really started to realize the severity of the injury. And I was like, I'm not coming back for a while. So, and then he just came in one day with the shirt that said Samvincible, and it was just catchy and it stuck. And then that's just kind of how it came to be.
I like the name. We need a name like that.
I like it. Do you connect with other people, Sam, that maybe have had similar life experiences with yours and just kind of share your story with other people on a personal level?
Yeah, like I've met a lot of people, at hospitals, when I was staying at different therapy places. And I met a lot of people that, there's similar injuries to me that are same people, that hurt their necks in the ocean. And then, there's people that, get in car accidents and they break their back. It's all, same spinal cord, but, different areas, everyone has a different experience. And it's cool to figure out and talk and help other people through it, like of what you experienced and what they experienced, and you can kind of see the similarities between each other.
Sam, how important is the support of your friends? Because sometimes when folks get injured, at the beginning, there's a lot of people around. And then gradually, little by little, people go back to their lives. Or in your case, you were still at St. Rose High School in Belmar. And you saw a lot of them at graduation. Congratulations, by the way. And we'll talk about your acceptance into college, which is very cool. But how important is that? And are they still around supporting you? I know the lifeguards are a tight-knit family.
Yeah, so my friends, they were all actually sitting at my house because I was the only one working that day. And my brother and my friend Jack, Mike, Kiki, Tom, they're all sitting at my house waiting for me to get off break so we can go do something else. And when they all came to the hospital, they just didn't really know what to do. But about like 2 or 3 days kind of after my injury, my mom had to go somewhere. And I was left with me in the hospital with my friend Jack and Kiki. And, they're still the same friends. all they did was rip on me for breaking my neck, and we're just laughing, having a good time. And they stuck on a movie that, was just some random movie that was so bad. They didn't even turn on the volume. So I had to sit there and like watch it, and it was just, they're just still the same friends, and nothing really changed.
That's important.
And they're still over, they're over at my house more than they're at their own houses all the time.
That's awesome to hear. And I'm glad that they've stuck by you and they're still as annoying as ever
Yeah.
to you. Oh, gosh.
When we come back on Be Inspired, we'll spend some more time with Sam, and he'll be joined on set by another special guest previously featured in Season 5 of Be Inspired. We'll be back with much more. And welcome back to Be Inspired. Our guest this time around is Sam Jarmer, known on Instagram as Samvincible. What a great name that is. And joining us here on the set is a guest who we featured previously in season number 5. It is great to welcome back world-renowned motivational speaker and life coach Scott Chesney, who is back with us. I like this. There's a great dynamic and a great synergy here. Which one of you guys wants to tell the stories as to what brought the two of you together? How'd you guys come to meet?
Okay.
All right, it's on you, Sam.
So there was an event that was going to be going on. It was a 5K that was going to be in honor for the Christopher Reeve Foundation. And Scott works alongside with them. And this was pretty close to right after I just got home from the hospital. And they approached me with asking me if I wanted to be the marshal for the Secret 5K. And they had asked if they could come and tell me kind of what's going to be going on, what I have to do, and if I would like to participate. And Scott came along, and that's kind of from then on we just did a lot of stuff together. You'd see me at therapy, come hang out at the house. We would talk all the time.
That's awesome. And shout out to Mike Del Trui, who is the director of the Seeker 5K. That's grown into a huge, huge event. There's like 10,000 people running this year, and they do a lot for Christopher Reeve Foundation, Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. If you follow you on Instagram, Bert, if you follow Sam, it's Samvincible, as we said. You have made amazing progress.
Thank you.
You're welcome, because that takes a lot of hard work, a lot of determination. And like you said in the beginning, it's going to take a little while. You never once said, oh no, this is, a sentence that I'm going to have to live with. Tell us how you're doing.
Yeah, so when I broke my neck, I could not move my arms that well. I could lift them up, but the second I would lift them up any higher to where my tricep would engage, they would collapse. And I could barely move that. And then I could just shrug my shoulders like the littlest bit, to where you couldn't really look at it and see that they were moving, but you could feel that they're moving. And now I'm up, I'm standing. I can stand on my own completely unassisted for 20 minutes. Wow. I can walk assisted right now, but I'm slowly getting more unassisted with walking. And, I can almost go from fully sitting to standing by my own. And I can just do so much more than I used to be able to. And I'm
That's
getting very
awesome.
close to just being totally independent on my own again.
That's awesome.
Show off.
That's right. For sure. And it's here. It's here, too, like you had said in the beginning.
It's quite amazing what Sam is in the zone, and he's focused. His family's focused, who are incredible support system for him. And it's almost like I'm going to walk again, and I'm going to take advantage of all the resources that are out there to assist and make that happen. Because, yes, there are some people who have regained movement, but for most people who have a spinal cord injury, unfortunately, they're told they will never walk again. And you could just imagine what that would do for someone's psyche at any age. But Sam was one of those people that just, he wouldn't listen. His family wouldn't listen. And what I love about that is that we don't know what the power of the human spirit can do. We see it move mountains from time to time, but it also can move our bodies in ways that scientists and research has said, no, you can't do that. Keep telling Sam he can't do something, because all you're doing is fueling him, and he's going to prove you wrong.
Yeah, it's really remarkable, Scott, when a medical professional will say, in their opinion, what will happen, what won't happen. And then when something goes beyond that and breaks a barrier and goes beyond the expectations of what the so-called experts have to say, just a remarkable thing. It's really just a reminder about just never giving up, no matter what, never give up hope.
He's not a statistic, and he realized that. Whereas, again, I'm not here to judge anyone. A lot of people will take the words and say, it can't happen, it's not going to happen. Their families will be in disbelief too. I've only known the Jarmer family for a short period of time, but there is a relentless pursuit of movement. And Push to Walk is one of those organizations that's focused on that. And I know the Reeve Foundation is doing whatever they can to fund research that assists people to regain movement, whether it be in their upper limbs or their legs or both. So I tell people, because I'm constantly talking and coaching newly injured people, and I tell them, listen, I wish I could go back and change what happened to you, but knowing full well that I can't, I'm here to tell you that there's never a better time to be paralyzed. And I say that with a smile on my face because we've hastened the pace of research, and there is absolutely evidence, scientific evidence, that proves that, you know what, we can repair the spinal cord, and we can regenerate and regain movement. And it's, I don't know how much I might be able to see of that in my lifetime. I mean, I'm committed to doing that, but knowing full well the next generation, this is like boys to men here, is that knowing full well that Sam and those who unfortunately are going to come after him with a spinal cord injury based on being active and knowing that anything's possible, is that hopefully we're going to minimize the time that people have to spend in wheelchairs.
Scott, with that being said, and you see the tremendous progress that Sam has made, what does that mean to people who are in a similar situation? And talk about how that inspires others when they see that Sam and the progress that he's made. It has to have a positive effect on many people, right?
I absolutely, I mean, I'm really speaking for myself, but I absolutely have seen like so many people be inspired by Sam and just say that that's phenomenal. It absolutely inserts even more hope into your heart, thinking, wow, it might be possible for me. So that's a positive. But like anything in life, there's going to be people out there who are going to be like, well, maybe his injury isn't that severe, or I'm not as fortunate, or I've been paralyzed much longer and there's no hope for me. So people are unfortunately going to find a way to take a positive situation, which is the only thing I take away from Sam's situation. And knowing full well that I would never want one person to spend 5 minutes in a wheelchair, no matter who it is in this world, is that to have someone regain movement, and it is just the best thing for the paralysis community. It's the best thing for researchers to say, wait a minute, whoa, what's going on with this guy? Let's find out more and learn from him. It's from everyone who's sitting in the chair, anyone's families who are watching too, to say, hey, there's hope. Sam's walking, Sam's standing on his own and doing these things. It's marvelous. Other people are going to say this is a miracle. However it is, as in my opinion, I really believe I just want it to be looked upon as a positive, knowing full well that, you know what, he has lessened the struggle of living with paralysis. And thus, I think through his example, can absolutely be a beacon of hope for others.
And what do you guys hope to bring about with kind of like a mission, you know, together to make things more accessible? Like we were talking about, Sam, you know, I said, are you able to go down to the beach? Luckily, you are. Do you use the chairs with the big wheels, or do you use something else? Because there's not enough of that.
I haven't used the chairs yet.
Okay.
That's just due to the fact that when the times I've gotten down to the beach or been able to go down there,
Right.
it's usually late at night. You know, all my friends, that were working, you know, they put everything away in the shed,
Okay.
lock it up. So if I go down there with a couple of my friends, we just go down there, and then they find some chair in the lifeguard shed, and then they kind of carry me like a king on their shoulders in the chair and down to the beach. And it's pretty funny, but we haven't gotten a chance to use those chairs yet. But they're great, and it's way easier than using a beach chair, kind of like
Yeah.
a king.
You know, what's
Yeah.
interesting about that question, too, is that Sam and I did our first duo presentation at Seegert Elementary School. Part of it was to promote the Seegert 5K,
Right.
but also Sam really hadn't shared his story. There's been a lot on social media and so forth. So we thought it was a great platform with some little kids. and who have amazing questions. And one of the questions is like, when are you gonna be a lifeguard again? And Sam just looked at him, and again, most adults don't have the audacity to ask that kind of question, whereas with kids, there's no filtration
No.
system, and it came out.
It's
And
honest.
Sam was honest. Sam's like, you know what? Not this summer, next summer. I plan on being in that lifeguard stand, and maybe not like jumping off and going to save someone at that time, but being able to be another set of eyes and helping and everything. So, and the kid looked at him. It was almost like, I believe you, and I believe
I
that's
do
going to
too.
happen. And I love that. So even
Yeah.
transforming the lives of people who don't have disabilities is what Sam's purpose is all about, and what my purpose is all about. That's why I love teaming up. I mean, it's almost like the before and after. I mean, it's
Yeah, I see,
and it's
yeah.
great. And
Yeah, stages of
Absolutely,
your
absolutely.
lives together.
Yeah.
And I just have to ask you, honestly, I know with my struggles, I'm guarded in sharing a story. And I don't know if you feel the same way, Bert. Maybe it's because of what we do, or I kind of have this like closed, certain people I'll let into, my world, what's happening. Is it hard for you to, because I know it would be a lot for me, how is it for you to share your story and your feelings with others?
I'm pretty fine with it, because like when I broke my neck, I was like, oh, this sucks, but whatever. Like I didn't really care. Like I was like, oh, just broke my neck. I'll have to recover, and then I'll be fine once I recover. And that's kind of it. So I looked at it. I was like, just deal with it.
We need to have that attitude. Whatever. I need to say that more.
Yeah, I'm pretty
right?
like carefree
Whatever.
about most things. So I was just like,
Chill.
kind of sucks, but I just got to deal with it.
Well,
so.
that's good, because I believe that the more you feel comfortable about it, the more at ease others feel comfortable as well.
I think that's part of the mission too, is that there's a
Yeah.
lot of parts of, and we're just speaking on behalf of paralysis right now.
Right.
A lot of people are like, that person can't stand, that person can't walk. It's almost like those are the easy parts of paralysis. There's a lot, whether it be bathroom and other issues that are the hidden parts of disability that sometimes are a challenge that, with our own groups that we talk to and trying to help people kind of like maneuver around those issues themselves, we'll be free to talk. But it's tough to go there, because that's really
Yeah.
being vulnerable. But it's the honest and real part of living with a disability too, and it's something that we battle on a daily basis. So, yeah,
Yeah. And it gives you purpose, though, to do what you're doing.
it does.
That's huge.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, we thank you for joining us and coming back to be inspired, to be a guest of a guest, if you will, this time around. And Sam, it was really wonderful to
Thank
meet
you.
you, and thank you for joining us on Be Inspired, and a great positive attitude going forward. And really, it was really an inspiration to have you here today, and thank you so much for joining us. As we wrap up, if someone wants to maybe get more involved in, say, the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, Scott, how do they do that?
They could just go to their website, ChristopherReeve.org. So it's Christopher and then REEVE.org, and they can learn all about. They'll see a link to the Seagirt 5K, but today's care, tomorrow's cure is their slogan. So they'll see a lot of the quality of life initiatives that the foundation is involved in, but also different funding opportunities that they've presented researchers and scientists who, again, are working on more effective treatments and ultimately cures for paralysis.
Well, thank you again both for being here. It was really great to have you on the show
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
I'm Bert Barron,
And I'm Lisa Anderson.
and thank you for joining us on Be Inspired.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam Jarmer, and thank you for listening to my story. And I encourage you all to spread your stories so you can inspire other people and help other people get through whatever situation they're going through.
Next on Be Inspired.
Being a single mom, there were times where it was a struggle. I was missing. I worked 7 days a week. We were hit head on in a car accident. I was diagnosed with cancer. I'm here. That in itself is a blessing. I'm not done by any means.
Be Inspired with your hosts Bert Barron and Lisa Anderson Puleo. Directed by Rod Weber, created and produced by Michael R. Doyle.
Co-producers, Bert Barron, Lisa Anderson-Puleo, Rebecca Gruber, and Erwin Sternberg.
Executive producers Rod Weber and Sean M. Sternberg. Editor Rebecca Gruber. Filmed at New Beginnings Foundation, Wall Township, New Jersey.
Season 5 of Be Inspired is dedicated to the memory of Golden Boy Michael Cammett. Michael was a rising star in the world of professional wrestling who died in a tragic accident this past summer. His memory and legacy live on in the lives he touched, and he will always be remembered by family, friends, and fans.